leave Prague. I'm here at the river and I'll show you a beautiful view of the castle or cathedral and the river, and yeah, just all the architecture in Prague is just, it looks so cool and it's old and it's amazing. They have nice little trams, and I'm going that way towards Vienna. It should be around 330 kilometers. Post-trip Michel's taking over now. I was talking way too much on that bridge and it wasn't very interesting at all, to be honest. I'll definitely come back to Prague. It's an amazing city, but for now it is time to get back on the road. Here you can see me actually leaving Prague and it's time for a new chapter on this ride. But for now it's time to go towards Vienna. I don't have a place to sleep yet, but we'll see when we get there. Wow, it's the first time I see this. It looks ridiculous, actually. Hello. Yeah, so the camping situation is a hard one. There's not really a campsite. Wild camping is illegal in Czech Republic and also not very tolerated unless you ask people, but I don't know, I don't want to bother people that much here. Maybe in the Balkans it's easier, but here I feel like people are a little bit more to themselves still. There's an Airbnb for 19 euros or something, which is 30 kilometers on the road. I'm considering just taking that, and then tomorrow I can try warm showers again, because it looks like the area where I'm going tomorrow, there's more warm showers available, so I might check that, because I do want to stay inside like a Czech house and be with the people there, and that's always fun. I'm gonna try that tomorrow because I only have 2 days left in Czech Republic. I'm just gonna continue on for the next 30 kilometers to the town and I'll probably get the Airbnb. I'm sitting in this beautiful small town. I'm not gonna try to pronounce the name, but on the screen I'll show you where it is and how it's called. It's a hard name. It's a beautiful town square, nice little town. Just gonna enjoy the town a little bit and then do the last 8 kilometers or something to my campsite. So I just got to the campsite and he said it was closed until May and it's now April, so I gotta find another place. And I was like, I just need a place to put my tent, and he has like a massive grass field, but he was no, it's closed. I decided to cycle back a little bit, only like 5 kilometers. I saw a place from the road there and I want to check that out, so that's where I am now. So I found a place. I'm gonna set up my tent now, and so what I did, I went on Google. I couldn't find anything nearby. So what I did, I went to Open Camping Map or any other apps. I basically consulted all of my knowledge of all the apps I had, and on Open Camping Map I actually found this one. So not the previous one, this 500 meters away, it was not on there, but this one was. It's still closed, so I called the number that was on their website. Thanks that he spoke English, because that's a lot more helpful. He spoke some English and I said I just need a small space for my tent and my bicycle and I don't need anything else. So he called his handyman, which is, I think he's now gone, and said I'm coming. I said they're already in the village, so that's easy. I'll be there in like 2 minutes. And yeah, he said you can just camp anywhere. And he even left the toilet. He even left one toilet for me open, so I can use it as well in the morning and tonight. So really great. And I asked, do I need to pay anything? He said, no, it's great. Just stay, enjoy it. So that's great. So I can stay here for free. And I have a beautiful lake view actually. Let me show you. I have a beautiful lake as well. I'm gonna set up my tent and enjoy the nice evening. So I really like this tent for its simplicity. It's a nature hike up to or just to or whatever. What I like about this tent is it's really simple to put up. There's also a ground cover which I put this inner tent on. So your inner tent is not directly on the ground, which for me is great because it gives a lot more freedom on where you can put it even if the terrain is not suitable. So here we have the inner tent, which as you can see is up the ground cover, which makes it easier because the inside of the tent is actually pretty thin material, but the ground cover is a lot harsher, so I can put it on a little bit rougher terrain. Now this is easy because this is grass, but might there be some rocks, it's easier to put it on. On the next day I continued in the countryside of the Czech Republic. Sadly it was also my last day in the country, but I really enjoyed it a lot and I would really like to come back and see all the other parts of the Czech Republic. It's now day 16 of my trip and today I'm going towards the Austrian border. So I'm currently on the border station of the Czech Republic and Austria behind me. My bike is already in Austria, so I left my bike. What I discovered here is that this door is actually just open. I don't know if I was supposed to be in here, probably not, but it was open and I was curious to see what it looks like on the inside. This is the actual old border station between the Czech Republic and Austria. Also, it is the border between Eastern and Western Europe in the Cold War. So the border is now open, of course. There's no patrolling officers anymore. There's no gates. Everything is just open and there was no one here at all. I saw like 2 cars pass by in the time I was there. So it's a very quiet crossing. But yeah, it's interesting that you can just walk inside. There's not much stuff left in there, just some leftovers from the time that it was used. Probably like at latest like 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I don't know exactly the history on this border station or the Czech-Austrian border. But let's go back outside and continue the trip and end this urban exploration episode here. I cycled into Austria and I was quickly approaching Vienna. I had just one more night to stay before I went to Vienna. I slept at the Warm Showers host and I met another cyclist, which I forgot his name. I'm very sorry. But we cycled together into Vienna. Here you can see the skyline in the distance. After we had reached Vienna, we both went our own ways. He stayed somewhere outside the city center and I stayed inside the city center really. I stayed one extra day to explore the city. I'd never been here before, so I really want to see the city without a bike in my hand. Other than that, I just went to a few museums and went to do some sightseeing and explore the city during the day and during the night. Here you can see I am already back on the road on a very, very boring road towards Bratislava. I was like, it's very close to Vienna. It's only like 70 kilometers. So one extra day and it's supposed to be a really nice city. So let's find out if it really is. But the way there is really, really boring. So I'm glad it lasted only one day. Bratislava turned out to be a really nice, cozy city center. It's different than Vienna, but it's very nice atmosphere. In Bratislava I met Florian from France and a fellow bike tourer, and he is actually cycling from Paris to Tokyo. By the time I make this voiceover in November, he is still ongoing. I think he just went into Nepal, so really impressive. In this bar we met some very nice Ukrainians. 2 of them were living in the Netherlands actually, so they spoke some Dutch and sang in Dutch as well, really nice. And we just had a few beers together and then it was time to go to sleep. So I didn't film much today, but here I am at the Hungarian border. Just left Austria and I will be back in Austria, so it's not goodbye yet. But here behind me is the Austrian border crossing and on the other direction is the Hungarian one. So I'm currently in the middle of nowhere actually, middle of the road, and I'm in a I think it's a national park. It's a very remote area. I barely have any phone service as well, sometimes I even have no service. And here's the area around me that I'm gonna find a camp spot tonight. So I'm gonna put my long pants on. I'm still wearing shorts because it's quite warm today. The reason I'm wearing long pants is because there's lots of ticks I've heard here, also with the Lyme disease. So some long pants, which I'm gonna put my socks over, and then I'm gonna check myself when I'm in my tent because I am gonna walk in a wild forest here. So let's find a good spot here. So what I'm looking for here is just on the side of the road, either a small grassy gravel road where I can see there's like barely any people that drive on there. Although I haven't seen a car in like 15 minutes. So then I look for like either a patch of grass, but not too much sunlight, because if there's too much sunlight, there's like very high grass in the forest, which is very hard to camp on. Lots of insects and everything. So I'm preferably looking for something like there, which is also actually this not good because there's lots of tree stumps, but more of an area like that where there's just leaves, because then you can just put my tent cover and my ground cover on there, and then it should be fine. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna go ride for a kilometer or so, and then probably I'll find something along the road. Okay, so this is a lesson on how you should not find a wild camping spot. I'm like next to the road basically. I couldn't really find anything because most of the land here is so uneven that it's like so impossible to put my tent anywhere. I went to a youth camping kind of thing with cabins, and saw one guy, it was closed, I saw one guy mowing the grass, and I asked him Google Translate, hey, can I put my tent here for one night because I'm gonna leave tomorrow very early? And he called his boss and he said, no, it's not possible. Why is it not possible? But I don't speak the language, he didn't speak any English or German, so I couldn't really ask why it wasn't possible. Like I don't see why it's not possible, but okay. So I'm here in the forest now. Here's my tent, and yeah, the road is just right there. I really couldn't find it because everything else is just like that thick kind of forest thing where there's no grass or flat ground whatsoever. So I don't really want to be walking 500 meters through a thick forest with my panniers, so that's it. That's about it. The positive thing is that the sun has set, so it should be dark in around half an hour. And there's like, 10 cars per hour on this road, so I don't think it's too much of a problem. You can see it from the road if you're coming, like my tent is here, if you're coming from that direction, you can see it, but I have a dark green tent, so I don't think it should be a big problem. So I've ridden into many European cities, and Zagreb must be the most shittiest city I've ever ridden into. It's so busy, 4-lane roads. Sometimes there's a pavement, but not always, and it just ends. There's so many like of these curbs and everything. My bike is already crying because it's just so really bad and busy. So I hope the city center actually makes up for this. I've never seen Zagreb. I've never even seen pictures of Zagreb, I think. So I'm really going in blind. I especially didn't look anything up before I went here. So I'm really going to be surprised by what I see. But this is not a good start for the city. It's 11 kilometers to go. And it's really shitty to ride here. Really bad. And this is the route Como recommends. And there's not... I checked the map, but there's not really a better alternative or something. So we just have to cope with it. Driving on the pavement and going off all these fucking curbs. So yeah, let's go do these last 12 kilometers and then relax in the hostel. I did eventually make it to the hostel and the city center in Zagreb. In the hostel I met Eric or Aaron from the UK, I think that was his name. And we walked around Zagreb for a while before eventually settling down for a few beers. I didn't like Zagreb that much, to be honest. It wasn't bad either, but it's just not my kind of city. It wasn't anything special for me. This is where I went in the episode actually, so in the next episode I will continue towards Bosnia and the rest of the Balkans, and I'm really excited to show you all that, so thanks for watching.